Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another Total War Warhammer online battle. Today I am playing yet again as the Empire, taking actually a very similar army to the previous battle, where I played against the Dwarves, and then I'm playing the Dwarves, who have a bit of a different army than last time. My opponent here has 3 miners with blasting charges, a regular unit of miners, 1 unit of slayers, and then another one hiding over here in the woods. Right here in the woods. He's got 4 units of dwarf warriors with great weapons. He's got a couple units of quarrelers, and then he's got a runesmith and Ungrim Iron Fist as his heroes. And he has 3 grudge thrower units, which are going to cause a bit of a problem for me. The reason I want to show this battle is because last time we fought the dwarves, we pretty much just curb stomped them, and it wasn't really, it was a pretty one-sided fight. They just got wrecked, and this one plays out very differently, as you will see. As for my unit, it's very similar to last time. I've got 4 units of greatswords, and then I've got 3 units of regular swordsmen, plus the Hellstorm rocket battery. I've got just a regular general of the Empire on a Pegasus Knight, or on a Pegasus, and then I've got 2 units of handgunners. You remember last time I talked about how I made a bad decision not taking anything that could counter gyrocopters? Well, that's what the handgunners are for. Although my opponent didn't bring gyrocopters, so that was irrelevant. I've got a unit of outriders here with grenade launchers, and then over here I've got 2 units of anti-infantry Empire Knights. So let's go ahead and get into the battle. It takes a little while for us to kind of kick off and get started. I do go ahead and open up with my rocket battery and start firing on his units. Now, one thing that this opponent does a bit differently than my previous Dwarven opponent is he plays very smart when it comes to that incoming artillery fire. If we fast forward a bit, you can see he starts splitting off his army, and he's going to basically form 2 long, thin lines, and that's going to minimize the damage that he takes from my rocket battery. The other thing he's going to do is he's going to move his 3 grudge throwers forward and start firing at my my units over there. I am going to bring my cavalry out here to the flanks, and I'm going to start moving my outriders up over here just so I can kind of harass him a little bit. I do not start moving my army forward, which is kind of a bad idea. I should have done that as soon as I realized that he was firing at my rocket battery, because my rocket battery is frankly outnumbered as far as the artillery war goes. I have 1 artillery piece, he has 3, and my rocket battery is not going to be nearly as effective in this battle as it was in the last. I am going to start moving my outriders over here to start kind of harassing his units and getting some early damage in. And then I fire on them with my rocket battery, and unfortunately, my rocket battery lands right in the middle of my own outriders and causes some damage there. You can see my cavalry has kind of moved over this way, and he's going to start moving these units forward to intercept them. I'm having no part of that, and I'm just going to avoid. And I think I actually end up pulling my Empire Knights all the way out over here. Now, he's basically chased off my outriders, but my outriders are just in skirmish mode. They're just basically harassing him, launching some grenades, doing some damage, things like that. You can see my rocket battery is already down to about half because he's concentrating his grudge fire, or his grudge thrower fire on them, on that 1 artillery unit, and it's not going to last a whole lot longer. I'm going to keep playing the little harassment war with my cavalry and with my outriders, but it's not going to last too long. We're going to fast forward a bit. And you can see pretty soon my rocket battery is going to go down here. We're doing the little harassment type thing, and eventually I'm going to start moving my army forward, although I should have been focusing on a little bit more because they didn't move as soon as my rocket battery went down, and in fact I probably should have been moving them forward the entire time that the rocket battery was firing. As soon as I realized I was outmatched, but that was definitely a mistake on my part. Wow, can't talk today. So my army is moving forward. I'm going to form a position here, and he's got these units of quarrelers right here. that are going to be able to cause some significant damage as I kind of come in. You can see from the grudge thrower fire, I've got some swordsmen here that are pretty badly damaged, and I've got these handgunners, and his quarrelers are going to open up and basically just lay waste to these units. They're already wavering there, and they're going to start running. They're just going to run away. And then these swordsmen are going to do the same thing. So that is 2 units right there who didn't even make it into the battle. I've still got my cavalry kind of over here, just harassing as much as I can. But they're not really being very effective at the moment. And my units are going to charge forward and start doing what I can to kind of lay into this army and attack. He has a relatively strong defensive position. I'm going to issue an attack order, and unfortunately, they all kind of concentrated on different things, so my line kind of falls apart, which is not good, at all. Now, I am going to charge these warriors and miners over here with my cavalry, and then I'm going to pull them out right away, just to get that nice cycle charge bonus. And my units are going to charge right in, which, honestly, tactically, not the best decision in the world. These units have come back from routing, and they're going to kind of move their way up, but it's going to take them a little while to get there, and I don't think they're really ultimately going to be very relevant in this battle. My cavalry is fleeing and moving away from this engagement. They want no part of that. My general is over here, basically just trying to keep these guys busy, and I'm pulling out now. I need to get rid of these grudge throwers because they're causing me some issues. My outriders are firing into these miners. My cavalry's doing stuff over here. But as far as the main infantry engagement in here goes, you can just kind of see my units are not doing all that great. He's got units here in reserve. Most of his units are concentrated over here where they're not really being very useful. But I'm taking a lot of indirect fire from these quarrelers, and that's not good. He's also using... well, maybe he's not using the runes. Or maybe he already used them and they already, and the effects have worn off. But I'm just trying to keep his quarrelers pushed back. He's got a couple units that are wavering over here and over here, but the bulk of his force over here is going to do pretty well since they can all kind of concentrate on these units. I can do a little bit with my cavalry and with my greatswords, but it's a limited amount. Now, I've started using my handgunners to fire at his lord. Or actually at his runesmith, because the runesmith can buff all of his units. My general apparently got in an engagement that he didn't like, and he's running away, which is unfortunate. He's taken off, and he's actually going to fly off the field before I have a chance to rout him. He had a healing potion, but I wasn't paying attention to him enough, and I didn't get the healing potion off before he started routing. So he's actually just going to fly off the field and honorably run away, which is going to cause morale problems for my unit. There's the runesmith popping off some runes. Looks like the rune of negation and maybe the rune of oath and steel. Yeah, and then he's also got stand your ground from his lord as well. So his units are all getting buffed right here, and my cavalry is in basically a prolonged melee fight, which isn't really the best for them. I do have my great swords over here, and my regular... I do have all these guys charging in over here, but they're getting shot in the back by these quarrelers. They should do good if they can actually get into these units over here. My handgunners are about to get tied up. And I'm going to take these Empire Knights and basically just try and keep them alive. Now, my handgunners are firing into his flanks over here, which is very good for me as my units advance over here. If I had been him, I would have split one unit off to go and basically just chase down these handgunners and keep them out of the fight, because they're causing some significant damage as they fire into my opponent's flanks. I've got a couple units of swords over here that are basically just sitting there and not doing anything right now, and I'm going to go ahead and tell them to move forward and try and get into the rear of my opponent. But you can see my sword units are pretty beat up. I mean, his units are pretty beat up too. He does have some units of quarrelers here that are still very dangerous and able to fire into the backs and flanks of my men, which is bad for me. Now he's finally split off this unit to chase down my handgunners, and now they're running away. I think he told them to go intercept these handgunners, and that means they're just going to get shot in the back as they charge over here. which is not good for him. My cavalry is still kind of alive, but not very much. This is the only unit of cavalry left, and they're beat up pretty bad. I've got units that are kind of wavering. His quarrelers are still good. This grudge thrower is still alive somehow. I'm not sure how that worked out. But a lot of his units are routing. He does still have some pretty significant units, though. His general, Ungrim, is still very much alive, and I really don't have anything that can stand toe-to-toe with his general right now, so that's a problem for me. His Ungrim's going to do very well in pretty much all of these fights. I really don't have anything for general killing anymore now that my general is dead, so that's not good. Luckily, my handgunners are getting some major work done firing into the backs and flanks of his men, which is good. I do have a unit of swords over here that I must have, basically rallied after routing, and they're just going to sit there for a little while. My cavalry is still moving in, coming back, trying to get cycle charges, basically just trying to do as much as I possibly can to take down his units, but these quarrelers are able to just continue firing. I don't know why he's moving them back right now, but they've basically got free reign to shoot into the backs of my men over here. It's not going very well. I mean, this is still very much anyone's fight, although it looks like all of his units are wavering. Ungrim is charging in, and then it looks like he's actually charging his quarrelers into the melee. Are they out of ammo? No, they still have a lot of ammo. I'm not sure why he did that. Probably to try and save his lord, but I would have kept them back and just had him shoot arrows in. That probably would have been the smart thing to do. I'm finally going to get rid of this grudge thrower with these cavalry units over here. It took a little while for me to wrap that one up. These handgunners right here, still very, very much alive, very healthy, and still very dangerous, although it looks... No, they do still have some ammo. They're going to start firing into these dwarf warriors with great weapons over here who are going to start basically just get wrecked before they have a chance to get to me. They're going to waver and run away before they can get to my lines. Ungrim's still alive. Still just doing nasty things to my men who are starting to rout over in here. I do have this unit of great swords, which is good. Because great swords are tough. All of my regular swords have pretty much routed at least once by now. My great swords are really kind of the backbone of this army, and they're doing okay. They're doing all right, but they're definitely hurting. They're definitely hurting pretty bad. I actually thought for a minute I was going to lose this fight, but now his units are wavering. Ungrim is alive, but insignificant. He's hurting. He's hurting pretty bad, as you can see, down to less than 600 health. And with 4 units of great swords on him, I do finally win the battle. But that was a very close fight, and I did not... I didn't play that one as well as I could have. There were some... I should have moved my army forward a lot sooner. You can see his grudge throwers did pretty well. And keep in mind that these grudge throwers, their actual kills are relatively low, but they did take out my Sunmaker, which... does not count as that many kills, but it's a very significant unit to take out. And my Sunmaker, which I believe off the top of my head is something like 1,800 gold, so the most expensive unit in my army, only got 43 kills. Not great. Not great at all. So that's a very big deal. And then they also did some work on my great swords and my other swordsmen. His quarrelers did pretty good. This one especially. And he did just have a lot more men than me. Ungrim racking up 113 kills while my general only got 3. Basically, the only reason I won this fight were that my greatsword saved me and that this unit of handgunners that stayed alive pretty much to the very end did very good. My cavalry did okay. 80 units, but with the significant mobility advantage they had, they should have done better. But it is what it is. They did okay. This one did level up and gain a chevron. So they must have killed something important. But anyway, that's the battle, guys. And I think that was a very good one. That was close. Kind of down to the wire. Was anybody's game there for a little while. Up until the very end. So, guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate it. And it really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below. So check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. And I'll definitely see you next time.